In January of 1991, the most powerful military coalition in history went to war. For 6 weeks, the skies over Iraq burned. Radar systems vanished in seconds. Entire armored divisions were destroyed before they ever saw the enemy. Then, after months of preparation, the ground war began. It was over in 100 hours. This was Operation Desert Storm, the war that redefined modern warfare forever. For many watching at home, Desert Storm felt unreal, a war unfolding on television screens before it had fully begun on the ground. By the summer of 1990, Iraq was a nation exhausted by war. 8 years of brutal fighting against Iran had drained its economy, devastated its infrastructure, and left Saddam Hussein deeply in debt. Kuwait, a small but oil-rich neighbor, became a focal point of Iraq's financial crisis. Accusing Kuwait of overproducing oil and stealing resources from Iraqi fields, Saddam ordered an invasion in August of 1990. Within days, Kuwait was occupied. The international response was swift. For the first time since World War II, a truly global coalition formed, backed by the United Nations and led by the United States, with a single objective: Iraq must leave Kuwait. What followed was not an immediate war, but something far more deliberate. Saddam Hussein believed the world would protest, but not intervene. What he underestimated was how quickly economic interests, international law, and post-Cold War politics would align. Operation Desert Shield began quietly. Hundreds of thousands of coalition troops poured into Saudi Arabia. Tanks, aircraft, artillery, and logistics units arrived from across the world. The buildup was unprecedented in scale. For months, the coalition waited. Training intensified. Plans were refined. The message to Iraq was clear: withdraw or face overwhelming force. For the first time, the world watched a war prepare itself in real time. Satellite images, press briefings, live television coverage. Desert Storm would become the first conflict fought under constant global observation. Wars are often decided before the first shot is fired. At Desert Shield, preparation became its own weapon. On January 17, 1991, the air war began. In the opening hours, coalition aircraft struck Iraqi radar installations, airfields, and command centers. Stealth aircraft, unseen by Iraqi defenses, penetrated deep into enemy territory. Surface-to-air missile sites were silenced. Communication networks collapsed. Precision weapons became the defining feature of the campaign. Targets were destroyed with minimal collateral damage, a stark contrast to wars of attrition in the past. By the time Iraqi forces understood the scale of the assault, it was already too late. For weeks, coalition aircraft dominated the skies. Iraqi armor was destroyed from above. Supply lines were severed. Morale eroded rapidly. Long before ground forces moved, the war had effectively been decided. By the second week, Iraqi units were no longer maneuvering. They were hiding. The battlefield had become invisible, dominated by aircraft they could not see and weapons they could not stop. On February 24, 1991, the ground offensive began. Coalition forces executed a massive flanking maneuver, known as the left hook, sweeping west before turning east into Iraqi territory. Iraqi defenses collapsed almost immediately. Units surrendered en masse. The elite Republican Guard was outmaneuvered and overwhelmed. Speed became the decisive weapon. Coalition forces advanced faster than Iraqi command structures could respond. In just 100 hours, organized resistance ended. Kuwait was liberated. The ground war was over almost as quickly as it began. The ground war was not won through sheer force, it was won through tempo. Iraqi commanders were reacting to movements that had already passed them by. Desert Storm reshaped the future of warfare. Precision, air dominance, and information warfare became central to military planning. The conflict set expectations, some realistic, others dangerously optimistic, about how quickly wars could be won. For the world, Desert Storm marked the arrival of a new era. Wars fought not only on battlefields, but on screens, satellites, and global media networks. Operation Desert Storm did not just end a conflict. It changed how wars would be fought, filmed, and remembered. Desert Storm created an illusion that wars could be fast, clean, and decisive. It was an expectation history would soon challenge. War is not only fought on battlefields, it is remembered through stories. For in-depth war history and cinematic storytelling, subscribe to the War Lore. Stories that shaped war. This was the War Lore.